Good morning. This morning we're doing a wreath presentation as part of our Veterans Day ceremony. Presenting the wreath today will be Holliston's oldest veteran, Charlie Nickerson, and World War II Marine Bob Hopkins. Present the wreath. Present arms. Order, arms. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome to what would have been, I think, our 15th or 16th Veterans Day dinner. We started this, I think, in 2006. If you look on some of the Facebook pages, you'll see a picture. And take a moment to think about the guys that are in that picture that are no longer with us. When we have this in good times, we've had as many as 130 to 135 veterans show for the dinner. We have about 80 of you here today, and so we'll move on here. I want to recognize a few people before we start. From the Senate President's Office, Mamina Hydri. Put your hand up a little higher, they can see you. Representative Dykema texted me about an hour ago. She said she's very under the weather and sends her regrets. From the Select Board, Vice Chair Ben Sparrow. Clerk John Cronin. And we have with us today Holliston's oldest veteran, Charlie Nickerson. And if all other World War II vets would raise your hand, you don't have to stand up, just raise your hand so we know that you're here. We'd like to recognize somebody that's been contributing to us throughout all of our dinners, Mr. Donald Bates. I should say Captain Donald Bates, United States Navy retired. Recognize our friends at HCAT and Holliston Reporter for covering the event. Our partners in crime for this, the Holliston Lions and Holliston Leos. TJs, who've been with us since about halfway through this thing. This might be about the 10th year you've done it with us, and always a great meal. And TC Scoops is supplying your dessert today, ice cream with chocolate sauce, I believe it is. So, Vice Chair Sparrow, if you would like to come up and say a few words.
So I had originally prepared a 4-hour speech, but I decided to truncate it slightly for this. So I wanted to say, first of all, thank you for this opportunity for me to get up and speak in front of you today. Just personally, I was able to spend some time with my grandfather a few years ago, who he actually served in World War II as a Seabee, and he left high school early so he could serve in the military when he turned 18. All right. His father was in the Navy in World War I, and joining the Navy was realistic and encouraged for him from the family's perspective. I asked him to tell me some stories about his time in the Navy, and it was very meaningful and impactful for me. I'm grateful for getting that chance to better understand him. And it was hard for me to imagine what it must have been like to be in the moments that he was in, and then to relive the experience. But to him, he was fulfilling his duty and doing what was asked of him. So many have served and would serve again so that all of us in this country can find safety, comfort, and security. And here we are, we're honoring your service today at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, just as Armistice Day in 1918. As veterans, you have sacrificed a part of yourself to serve this country of ours, and for that I am grateful. We are grateful as a community for what you have given to us. Your gift is something we hope to repay by not only giving you what you personally require, but to help you make our community and our country better. This place is special to all of us, and part of what makes it special is the willingness of people to sacrifice for the greater good. Anything we give to perpetuate this great experiment in democracy is important, but we should remember that times change. The sacrifice is not to remain in the past, but it is to give us a hopeful future. It is not for any one person to decide how much to give is more or less than what is required, but on this day we honor your service, and let me say, you've given much to me by what you have given to all of us, so I wanted to say thank you. Thank you.
My co-chair on this event, Bobby Blair, the mayor, will speak now.
Actually, 16 years ago, yeah, there we go. I had always wanted to write a book about town veterans, and every year I would procrastinate. You know, it'd be one thing after another, and finally I says, well, the pictures that I've collected, I'll just give them to the Historical Society. And actually, during that interim, I had thought, geez, I don't have a picture of the World War II veterans. And that's how this thing started. I says, geez, maybe we could get a picture if we have a dinner. And bingo, it went over. Last year, the man that gave me the poster board, if you've seen him up on the telephone poles, he passed away. Roger Gandini, good friend, died of leukemia. And I got to thinking, I says, geez, I'm up in that age bracket, you know. You can go anytime. And at Christmas time, someone brought me a book. It was about COVID-19. And I thought to myself, how in God's name did they pull this off? COVID-19's only been going on for a year, but here they pulled off a book. And I says, geez, maybe I could do that. And the thing is, the publisher inside the cover, I looked, I says, geez, they're in Framingham, you know, Saxonville Mill. I says, I can ride over there and ask them dumb questions because I know nothing about writing a book. That was at Christmas time. By the time March came around, and we have been going back and forth, and I needed help on the internet. You know, how do you do this? How do you do that? She was shooting stuff over in her terminology, book publishing. I'd say, hold on, what are you talking about? Finally, she said, okay, it's being printed out in Agawam. How would you like it sent? And I says, well, I don't know, FedEx or what. She said, oh, you can use the post office. My old alma mater that I retired from. So I went with the post office. It was a little cheaper. They sent the books all the way down to New Jersey, sent them back up to Connecticut, and then sent them someplace outside Worcester. It took like weeks. I said, Jesus, that place has gone to hell since I left.
Real efficient organization.
Yeah. So, bingo, I sat down in 2.5 weeks, I wrote another one. And there's so much information out there about all of you people, you know, and I was afraid of missing this person, that person, you know, and I did it for posterity, you know, and bingo. I've got 2 books. I've got this one here, another one in there. They'll be for sale as you leave down there. If you want one, that's fine. But the great thing that I found out about doing this is you do a little research and you go, shit, I mean, heck, I didn't know that. You know, I was looking for a guy named Vinnie Mullen. You'd have to be an old townie to know some of these characters. And I knew that his relative lived on Prospect Street where I grew up. So I called up Michael Moore and I says, hey, where's Vinnie? Is he dead? He goes, yeah. I says, well, any of his kids around? He says, I don't know. And I told him what I was doing. He says, well, across the street at Kempton's, he says, did you know they brought war dogs back from World War II? And I says, no, I didn't know that. And he says, yeah. And so I called up Evan Kempton at 55 Prospect Street. And he says, oh, yeah. He says, matter of fact, they published a book. And I says, I never knew that. He says, yeah, how to teach your dog obedience. He says, I'll bring it down to you. He brought it down, and I went, son of a gun. He says, did you know my father wrote a book? And I says, no, I didn't know that either. And he did. Dynamite on the Desk, it was called. And it was published after his death. But one thing led to another. And here in this book on dog obedience was this guy from South Natick who happened to be Michael Moore's father. He had come over to work. He looked across the street and saw Michael's mother. Bang, they got married. So the more you dig into this stuff, the better it is. So I don't know if there'll be a third book. I tried to do this for people that left from the town of Holliston. There's other people. I mean, I have Louis Paul Trineri's in here. And I had these for sale up at Fisk. John was very good. All kinds of information. So if you're interested when you're leaving, they'll be down at the back. Thanks.